We've generated over $20 million through email and SMS since 2020. And after testing every single flow you can possibly imagine inside of Klaviyo, we found that 80% of your entire automated revenue comes from a few key automations that honestly every e-commerce brand needs in order to maximize their revenue while they sleep. This is how we took Free the Roots from 2 broken automations to 21x their email marketing revenue in just 3 months. Or Headem.com to scale from making 7K per month from email marketing to 100K per month in under 3 months. In this video, I'm giving you my updated 2026 version of my full Klaviyo flow system step by step. I'll be covering the exact 11 core flows that every brand needs inside of their Klaviyo account. This is the exact system I set up for clients paying me thousands each month. And today you're getting it completely for free. If you stay till the end, I'll also give you our exact internal setup guides that we use inside of our agency so you can build everything by yourself inside of Klaviyo. All right, so we have a lot to cover. Let's jump right in. The holy 11 core email flows. These are the exact one we'll cover today. I think in 2026, guys, honestly, there shouldn't be a reason why you don't have these in your account, in your e-commerce stores, because they're so easy to set up. We have AI prompts, we have drag and drop templates. I'll share those with you inside of the training as well. Yeah, it's so easy to set up and they will bring you so much revenue. And by the way, I know there's other similar videos on YouTube. I watched all of them and this training I made it a lot better. So shall we jump in? Let's do it. So you can basically take your entire customer journey and divide it into 3 stages. Stage number 1 is what happened pre-purchase. Stage number 2 is what happens post-purchase, and stage number 3 is rescue. And let's actually look at what happened in each stage. Here you target somebody that just lands on your site. They don't know you, right? They just landed on your site. Maybe you brought them from acquisition, Facebook ad, Google ads, and you want to build trust with them so they buy from you for the first time. So here we're going to have the welcome flow, all the abandons, browse abandonment, cart abandonment, checkout abandonment. So all these target visitors to become customers, all right? Then once they become customers, you want to nurture them, cross-sell them, upsell them, get from them reviews, survey them to build the best e-commerce store ever, right? You want to retain your customers. That's where email marketing shines, all right? Then we have the rescue emails, all right? So the rescue stage is people forgot about you. They didn't come, they don't shop with you, and you want to win them back, okay? The last stage in the rescue is what happened when somebody doesn't even open your email for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months or more. Here you want to send them few specific emails strategically to basically let them know, hey, it's either you open our emails or we're gonna let you go, all right? If they don't open, you basically suppress them so you don't pay for them, and this will help you also with your deliverability. So it'll help you with Klaviyo Bill and also keep your deliverability high. Now, a question I get asked quite often, how much revenue should these flows bring each month? About 50%, half of your entire email marketing revenue should come from these automated flows. You set them up once, you can A/B test them. And yeah, obviously when you do them right, all right? So that's why I put this right here. So let's get some technical stuff out of the way. These are the 6 concepts you must understand first before you even start building your flows. So you want to get those fundamentals, and this will basically help you build these automated flows like a pro, all right? So first thing first, the flow trigger. This one helps you activate any flow you'd like, okay? So everything starts with an event or an action somebody took inside of your store, like starting a checkout, maybe placing an order. And this will automatically kicks off a series of emails or SMS messages inside of your Klaviyo account, all right? To top it off, you have a trigger filter, all right? This one acts like a gatekeeper. So imagine somebody starts a checkout. So this trigger starts, but you can add a filter to decide whether they should actually enter or not. For example, you might have a checkout started flow, but you only want to allow people that have a certain cart value, like over $100, to actually get the abandoned checkout emails. All right, this helps you control who receives what based on specific behavior. Here's another example. Aside from the cart value, you can only allow people that abandon checkout a certain collection, like nose rings, all right? Next to it, we have the profile filter, very similar to the one we just looked at, but these don't control who enters the flow. They control who receives specific messages within the flow. And basically here you can see this one is more specific to somebody's attributes, profile attributes. So where they're located, purchase history, maybe they bought once, 5 times, or customer attributes. All right. So this will help you make more targeted, personalized content for every recipient. All right. Very similar to the one we looked at. So also a very cool one. What is a time delay? Okay. Time delay is basically you control when a message is going to be sent. 2 days, 2 hours, you can basically pause an email before it's sent to a customer, and this will allow you to space out a bit your emails so it doesn't overwhelm your customer to receive, all of 5 messages in a flow back to back. You can kind of put a nice time delay so people get it slowly after a few days. All right, so last 2, we have trigger split and conditional split. These 2 are great for A/B tests. So you put them above an email and then you can create branches. Branch A, branch B, okay? So you can kind of like create conditional split, A/B tests, and these are great actually. This is how you can make a lot of money with A/B tests, all right? Really dominating these 2. These are the exact 11 flows we'll cover in emails. I'm not gonna actually, run you through each one. If you want, you have access to this entire doc, check them out right here and you'll be good to go. Non-negotiables for your flows, guys. Turn smart sending off. It's an annoying Klaviyo feature that helps you not annoy a customer, but you don't need them for flows, okay? Flows, no matter what, people should receive them because they took a specific action, like abandon a checkout or cart. So you wanna send them those emails and turn the smart sending off, all right, no matter what. A/B test is king, guys. You can add a lot of revenue if you just add a small time delay above an email, like hour versus 2. Trust me, this is super important. Now, let's look inside of your funnel, guys. This is what happens top of funnel from the moment a visitor lands on your homepage, all right, and all the way down to making a sale. So somebody lands on your homepage. They typically, as they land on your homepage from maybe a Facebook ad, they are greeted by a pop-up, okay? Like, give me your email, get 10% off, right? Once they give you their email, the first thing that happens is the first welcome email is triggered, all right? So the trigger of the welcome series is signing up on your pop-up. If they sign up and let's say they even went ahead and browsed a product, but then they bounce out, they'll receive the browse abandonment emails, okay? What happened if you did a good job with the browse abandonment, you brought them back to the site, like you see here, they added a product to cart, but then they bounced out, they'll start receiving the cart abandonment and stop receiving the browse abandonment, all right? Same thing here, if you brought them back and they start a checkout and bounce, they'll get, you guessed it right, the abandoned checkout emails, okay? All the way down to cha-ching, making that first sale. So let's dive into the first one, guys. Welcome series flow. Here's a video showing you how to set it up in literally 2 minutes inside of Klaviyo. Now, what it is, think about it as like an in-store experience. You walk into a store, an actual physical store, and a friendly, attractive, well-spoken sales rep greets you and asks you if you need any help, all right? Typically, the first, like the welcome series is tied into an incentive that somebody opts in for. So for example, welcome 10% off, you give them that in the welcome series. The primary goal here is to educate and nurture, make a good impression. Your email should look and feel pro. So good design, good copy, not those, annoying templated emails that you have in Shopify. Remove those. They do you more harm than good. And ultimately, the biggest goal is to move a visitor into a paying customer. That is the bottom line here, all right? So again, it targets only new visitors and people who have not placed an order yet. So big picture, think about it. It's your chance to build trust with a complete stranger and turn them into a paying customer. The trigger again is you need a list that will add all the people that sign up on your pop-up, right? People sign up, they are moved into a list. Typically is the newsletter, and that's the one you can actually start the trigger. When somebody's added to newsletter list, they'll get the welcome series emails. Trigger filters, guys. So here we have place order 0 times since done this flow. This will ensure that anybody that placed an order will be removed from the flow. Okay, so if you place an order, you will not keep getting the welcome series. All right. So again, look at how we use the trigger. Look at how we use the trigger filter and now profile filter. So these 3 are talking about deliverability, bounced email, marked email spam, and clicked email to unsubscribe. We don't want to send to people that have any of these conditions. All right. And this will check it every single time somebody is about to enter the welcome flow. Okay. Even if it's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th time, right? Or if they place an order. So we don't want to send welcome emails if somebody placed an order, okay? So if they place an order after the first email, this profile filter will stop them from receiving the rest of your welcome emails. Email 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. All right, pro tip, turn smart sending off. I spoke about it. This is an article to show you how you do it. And repeat the offer. You want to include the welcome discount, the welcome 10 in every single email 2, 3, 4, 5, because not everybody will convert after 1 or 2 emails. So you want to keep that incentive visible throughout the series, and the discount strategy across pre-purchase flows. If the welcome flow hasn't been used, you can include that actually in campaigns, in browse abandonment, all right? So instead of just giving random discounts, you can tie the discounts that hasn't been used, and one of the best ones, the welcome discount, into other flows and campaigns. Some example, guys, from Magic Spoon. Here's how they did it. Welcome email 1, this is all about who we are. Welcome, this is what makes us unique. We're low carb cereal, love their branding. Email 2 is us versus them. So if they're not convinced to buy, you show them visually, this is what other brands do. This is what we do. They're full of sugar. We're not. They have a lot of carbs. We don't. And of course, press mentions. We're mentioned a bunch of different sites and journals. And the last one is the founders. This is the founders. Well, we started this business. You can ask us anything. Love this brand. Again, you have access to all of these inside of the doc. And also, again, just a good moment to plug in the longer videos that I made. You have specific drag and drop templates to create your welcome emails in seconds. You have videos, longer videos on each one, the psychology, how to really make them the best way for your brand. Feel free to check them out. Just look up the videos on my YouTube channel. Flow number 2, abandoned checkout, guys. Another video showing you how to set it up in 2 minutes. All right. So what it is? Well, abandoned checkout flow targets people who reached the checkout but didn't complete a purchase. So these are almost buyers. You saw that in the funnel. They didn't just add items to cart. They actually started a checkout. That's the last stage before making a purchase. So these are some of the warmest leads you are going to have in your e-commerce store. And the goal is to bring them back to the site into the checkout page. Klaviyo, if you set it up the way I showed you in the video here, you can actually have a link that once they click it, it takes them back directly to the checkout page. So the goal again is to get them to complete their purchase. This is one of the highest impact flows, usually the top 2 in terms of revenue after the welcome series. And these customers are one step away from buying. Again, just reiterating how warm and how ready they are. So you just need to give them the right nudge, the right amount of time. You want to A/B test what's the right time. They don't need much to convert. Just maybe like handle objections, right? So let me just edit as well here. Handle checkout related objections, right? Maybe they're not sure about shipping, how fast they'll receive it. Do you accept returns? All this stuff you can actually put inside of your abandoned checkout emails. Big pictures. This flow captures lost revenue by converting high intent shoppers already very close to buying. The trigger is something that I want to actually go a bit in depth here. I see a lot of brands fail to make it right by not making the right distinction between the cart abandoned and the abandoned checkout. Very similar names, but they actually are triggered by 2 separate flows inside of your funnel. So note here, this one is triggered by the abandoned checkout. We'll do the cart one next. This one is the checkout started metric, okay? We have a bunch of flow filters, all right? A few ones here for protecting your deliverability, and here to make sure that we're not annoying people and sending them, if they start multiple checkouts, the same emails again and again. So we don't want to send this flow to anybody who already received it in the past 7 days, or anybody who made a purchase. So if, let's say, they went ahead, bought from you, you don't want to actually keep sending them the abandoned checkout emails. You want to move them from abandoned checkout into the post-purchase. Some pro tips, guys. So under Klaviyo, the abandoned checkout is called the abandoned cart. Therefore, you want to use for the abandoned checkout the right verbiage. So instead of using complete your cart, instead of that, you want to say complete your order, because they're at the checkout stage. All right, or finish payment, because that's what you do at checkout. You give me your info, your payment, and you place an order. Okay. You want to also show the order clearly. You want to display the items left behind, but frame it as order waiting to be completed. We'll do this with the dynamic block, super important, and leverage discount smartly. So again, if people haven't used the welcome discount, you can use it right here. Otherwise, you want to introduce the new incentive using conditional splits that I talked about already at the top. All right, let's see some examples from Bunky. So these are emails. Let me show you real quick. So your cart is still full. Checkout and get munching. Again, checkout, abandoned checkout items. Here's the dynamic section. Looks like you left some items in your cart. Here's, right, so some reviews. Here's also the product. So we have essentially the product. The abandoned cart here is actually below the fold. So we usually test this above the fold is like the first section. People seeing the email versus below the fold is, usually you get an email, you see this section, and then you scroll down. So we typically want to test that. So we might move them up if we see that it actually converts better. So yeah, just you see the coupon code in here. So always a lot of reviews and just making sure that they understand how the checkout process works, how fast they'll receive it, showing them social proof, other happy customers, maybe the products, complete the checkout, and yeah, super simple. If you want AI prompts to write all your flows in a second, I have them ready. Give me your name and email, and I'll send them over. All right. Next up, the abandoned cart flows. Again, a super quick 1 minute, 52-second video on how to set it up. And here is the big misconception that I talked about. Many brands think they have it set up while they're actually running the abandoned checkout flow. The key difference is the trigger. Abandoned cart is triggered by the added to cart metric, and the abandoned checkout is triggered by the checkout started metric. These are the different stages in the funnel. They're right next to each other. Let's actually look at that. I'll sip my coffee. Added to cart, kickstart the cart abandon, and start a checkout, kickstart the abandoned checkout. They're very close, but let's say I might just start or add something to cart. I didn't start a checkout, so if you don't have a flow here, there's a huge chunk of potential revenue to be recovered, okay? So let's see about those, how we set them up. So it targets people who added items to cart, but they never made it to checkout. This expands your reach beyond just abandoned checkouts, right? Recovers additional lost revenue that otherwise would not be recovered. Important setup here, added to cart does not auto sync when you set up your Klaviyo with your Shopify. Like most events, you need to manually set it up. And that's why most brands skip it because it's slightly more technical to implement, but not rocket science. Good news, Klaviyo actually provides you a pretty straightforward guide. I linked it for you right here. So just do it like a couple minutes. If you need help with that, obviously reach out to me. Happy to help you out with that. And yeah, do this before anything else. The actual content of the abandoned cart are very similar to the abandoned checkout. It's pretty much the same structure, but people are not as warm. They haven't started a checkout. So maybe they have some objections. So we'll look at that in a second. The trigger should be added to cart, which you need to set up. The profile filters, you have them right here. The pro tip, trigger setup matters, all right? Some stores don't have the added to cart, and you want to make sure you install it and test it, okay? You want to test it. You have also that guide inside of Klaviyo's useful guide right here. Then you want to also look at the flow logic correction. When somebody starts the checkout, they should exit the flow and exit this flow and start the checkout flow instead. So you want to avoid overlap. Luckily for you, we already have all of that right here. This will actually make sure that once they start a checkout, they won't receive any more cart abandonment email from you. All right. And in short, content match intent. This is a cart abandonment, so make sure don't say return to checkout. Okay. So here's how we did it. Take me back to cart. Get, where is that? 10% off your cart. So just cart languages. Here's how we did it here. So obviously at the top, you want to add the dynamic block. We want to do it for the abandoned checkout, abandoned cart, browse abandonment. The items they left in cart would really make a great hook at the top section of the email, okay? Then we want to leverage some reviews. If you have video reviews, amazing, because it's visual and fun. Here you also want to maybe include a discount. Again, we always test the dynamic section above the fold. So here's the fold, and below the fold. All right, just test it out, see what works best. Again, social proof. And we also have what we call a discount ladder. So we want to give them a good amount of discount if they haven't bought without a discount or 10% discount. It's like a last ditch effort. All right. So this is all for the abandoned cart. Moving on to the browse abandonment flow. A quick 2 minute and 40-second guide on how to set it up technically inside of Klaviyo. Now, why this matters. So people expressed interest, right? They viewed product. Let me show you this again. They view the product, but they left. All right. So maybe they don't trust you yet. All right. They don't trust you enough to add them to cart. So what you want to do is reach out to them and basically get them to come back and add the product to cart. All right. So bring them back to the product page and reignite their initial curiosity and interest. How to approach these emails. You want to feature the exact product that they viewed dynamically with a dynamic block. Super easy to set up. I show it to you inside of the setup, and make the follow-ups feel tailored and intentional. Big picture, it's a highly targeted flow that converts interest into action by leveraging real browsing behavior. This is the trigger, guys. The trigger will be viewed product. That's the metric. This is the profile filters right here. So if they, for example, after viewing your browse abandonment, they started a checkout, added to cart, or placed an order, they will be removed from this flow. All right. We also want to add this one here. So not only place order 0 times since starting this flow, but also placed order 0 time in the past 14 days. So if they've already been in this flow, you don't want to send them those emails again. You don't want to annoy them if they maybe browse multiple products in, a couple of days. You only want to send it every 14 days. All right. Pro tip, please ensure that if they add it to cart, start checkout, place an order, they'll not receive those emails. All right. So this is how you do that. All right, pro tip. So all emails, need to include the dynamic block, which will make this flow so powerful. You can play around where it's located. above or below the fold. And you want to also use multiple entry points. You can do those on collection pages, as I briefly mentioned. So if somebody browses a collection, like let's say, belts or shirts, but also when they view a specific product, like linen shirt, right? The differentiator here from site abandonment, which is coming up next. Site is curiosity, browse is more product focus, all right? So let's look at how we did it here. So product at the top, 3 ways that the product works, step by step, call to action, reviews, questions, all right? Question section, they click here, they can email them, all right? Email 2, again, we add a discount. We always do that actually, why not? If they convert, why not? 10%. And here we want to also maybe go ahead and ask if they need maybe to take the quiz. Take the quiz so you know what works for your toddler, all right? View the guide, questions. Yeah, super clean. Site abandonment, guys. Again, super straightforward guide. 3 minutes, you can get it going. Who does it target, guys? So site abandonment is a bit of a spooky one. Why? Because they didn't do anything. They just landed on your homepage and left. All right. So they're cold visitors. They landed on the site, but they didn't click anything or viewed anything, and they left almost immediately. So why it works? It captures people who may be interested but got distracted. Lets you send more broad general messaging, keep it fun and light. General requirement, you must have the visitor contact info, like their email, to trigger this flow. Do's and don'ts, guys. You don't want to go very deep with those emails. You want to keep it light, fun, and avoid any heavy personalization. Again, they didn't do anything. They didn't click, they didn't view, add to cart, nothing. So don't put their name inside of the email. Don't spook the customer. Keep it light, 1, maybe 2 email max, and keep it light and non-intrusive. The big picture is a simple, low-pressure way to bring back cold visitor and spark initial interest again. Trigger setup, check out the video up top. You have the active on site here. This one will trigger this. And we have a bunch of profile filters here to ensure that if somebody started a checkout, view the product, add it to cart, they're not going to receive the emails. All right. You also don't want to spam anybody. So if they clicked us spam or maybe the email bounced, we don't send them emails anymore. Okay. So as I said, it's a bit spooky. Let's see other things. A/B test, 15-minute delay for email 1 often leads to high engagement based on our agency, what we see for other clients. You want overlapping with welcome email. So if somebody has joined list in the past 12 to 24 hours, this will prevent getting the welcome flow and the site abandonment because again, they overlap, okay? Use interactive curiosity hook. What type of buyer are you? You can kind of keep that light, clicking, assigning profile data, push them into browse flows, segment messaging based on audience type, treat new customers differently and returning visitor differently. So I could get the site abandonment if I'm in your list for the past 5 months. I haven't done anything, but I just keep coming back to your site. Maybe from a campaign, for example, or a retargeting ad. I just keep landing on the site. You want to treat me differently if I'm returning or if I'm brand new. You can do that with a conditional split. And you want to avoid repetition. Basically, don't repeat the same benefits as browse abandonment. Keep this flow distinct. And here are some examples that we did for brands. All right. Gear up and get a free cap. So we give some sort of incentive here, right? We're very close. You can get a free cap. Come back to the site. The whole goal of this email is come back to the site. Browse the product, add to cart. You want to get them to the site because then they can actually take action. All right. Next up, guys, we're done with the pre-purchase flows. Next up, we have the post-purchase flows, starting with customer thank you. So a quick setup, 1.5 minutes on how to do it in Klaviyo. So what this flow is all about. Customer thank you flow is the first interaction after a customer placed an order. So they just bought from you and you want to basically, don't leave them in the dark. That's what a lot of beginners mistake. Somebody makes a purchase and they just don't do anything. Maybe there's like an automated Shopify email, but nothing from the brand, right? We obviously want to treat this as pro level. So what we do, these set of emails will actually help us reduce buyer's remorse. A timely email or set of emails can help you build excitement, reduce buyer's remorse, guide them to product content, maybe how to use the product, and basically keeps them informed if there's a deliverability or a delivery, tracking number, all that good stuff. You can basically do it right here. Send it to them so they're, informed. They know, okay, it's on its way. This is when shipping is going to take place. This is what I should expect, etc. What to include is helpful info about their purchase, what to expect next, again, shipping, timeline, etc. Content that enhance their experience with the product. Why it's essential, it will help you reduce support inquiries. So if you don't send that, people will email you, hey, haven't received anything, when shipping is going to take place. This will also improve overall customer experience. It will educate customers on how to get the most out of the product if you send them guides. For example, if I bought, I don't know, like an iPhone, Apple can send me, this is how to get the most out of your new iPhone. So first, back up your old iPhone with iCloud, right? So you kind of like give them the guides of what they need to do before they get the new product. All right. Big picture here is set the tone for post-purchase relationship and build trust immediately after the sale. This triggers by the place order metric. There's no trigger filters, at least from what we do. Pro tips, guys. Let's look at those. Avoid overlapping with transactional emails. Don't duplicate Shopify order confirmation messaging, and either delay or differentiate messaging. Shopify by default sends automatically like order confirmation emails. This is a little bit different. This is more of like, thank you for ordering. This is where support contact is, what to expect, like I said with the Apple example. So you want to treat them separately. They can go together, but don't also include order confirmation, what card they use, the shipping address, that's already sent from Shopify. What we do typically for more advanced stores, we unify them, right? We send one email with shipping confirmation, their shipping address, shipping name, and then also what to expect next. We kind of make a longer email and unify those. But if you don't have Shopify Plus, you can send both emails. One is more marketing email, one is more transactional email, all right? Segment by customer. You can basically send the same email, change it slightly, for first-time buyers, second time, third, and above. And all you need is just slight change. You want to say to a second-time buyer, thanks for buying from us again, as opposed to a first-time buyer, which we'll look at in a second in the examples. So just a small change can make somebody feel a little bit better. Delayed discount in post-purchase. If you offer a discount, you will basically get cancellations. Because if you give them 5% off, they'll say, okay, I'll cancel this order and I'll use my post-purchase discount. All right. Use TNCs when needed. Cannot be applied to previous order and all that good stuff. You can do that to keep you sane. All right. Thanks for choosing from us. Here's a quick copy. We're crafting an experience that goes beyond just headwear, just what we're all about. If you need more guidance, send us an email or a message. Here's email 2. Here they give already a discount. This is like a hardware brand. So super simple. You can kind of need more, products or more advice. You can do that right here. All right. So flow number 7, cross-sell, upsell series. What is it? Introduce complementary product. So typically in the post-purchase thank you that we just covered, it's more like thank you, what to expect next. Basically kind of walk them through what to expect, how to basically use the product. So it's kind of like more information. Here, we want to actually offer them complementary product that will enhance the experience of what they just bought, right? So typically we send them after the product is already in their hands and make the recommendation more relevant and credible. So imagine if we take the iPhone as an example. Somebody bought an iPhone. Why wouldn't you just offer them right now an Apple Care, maybe AirPods? Like, hey, you bought an iPhone. This AirPods go perfectly with your new iPhone. Or you have maybe a case or a strap, right? Maybe a better example. So you want to churn satisfied customers that have their wallets open, they just bought from you, and you want to use or hit the iron while it's hot, okay? So this is basically how you go about it. You basically create those, this will help you increase AOV, more repeat buyers from people who just bought from you, re-engage customer at the right moment. You want to basically use that as helpful guidance, not like forcefully sell something. It's like, hey, you bought an iPhone, check these products. I thought this will go well with your new iPhone, like a case. And position recommendation is way to get more value from their purchase. Okay, big picture, a strategic flow that turn one-time buyers into long-term customers through thoughtful, well-timed recommendations. The trigger is fulfilled order, because typically, depending on your setup, fulfilled order is when the product is already fulfilled. Depending on your Shopify setup, it might not be the case. So find out what's order delivered for you and then set up that trigger. A bunch of flow filters here that you want to have in place. Pro tips, guys. Clarify the difference. Upsell is higher price tier, cross-sell complementary products. So it could be either or depending on your products. Let's say you sell mattresses, you can technically, upsell somebody who bought a mattress, but you can cross-sell quite easily, So you can if I spend like $1,000, $2,000, you can tell them like, oh, buy a better mattress. You can do this for some products, but not for all products. So get the difference right here. Add timing filters. So don't cross-sell before product is delivered. That's a big mistake, okay? Adjust that time based on your store, especially for long shipping time. This flow won't work for every store, so disregard it if it doesn't work for your business model. Again, one product stores So you don't have anything to upsell or cross-sell. High ticket, infrequent purchases like furniture, luxury items, brand with long purchase cycles, right? Where cross-sell timing should feel forced. Products that don't require or benefit from any additional items to be experienced better. Okay, let's look at some example, guys. So expand your style, get 50% off. You can definitely give discounts here. Here, your style companion deserve an upgrade. So we give discounts and offer some collections. I think there's a dynamic collection here. All right, discount ladders, from 10%, 15% to 20%. The whole goal here is basically to get them to buy a second time, because the sentiment goes a lot higher when somebody buys for the second time. They're more likely to come third, fourth, and fifth time. All right, quick sip of coffee. Ooh, having a lot of fun here, guys. We have 3 more flows to go. So the survey flow, guys, a quick setup on how to set it up in Klaviyo. Your customer feedback is insightful to basically understand what people like and don't like about your brand or product. The primary goal is to gather valuable feedback, direct words that your customer use, because that will turn into the best copy, right? You want to learn directly from your customer and not assume or ask ChatGPT. Your customer know best. They just bought from you. You can ask them, what made you buy? Okay, so you can ask that in a survey. There is a way to make a survey. You can use ChatGPT. We have a prompt that we use internally. We typically frame our surveys as a favor. You want to keep it human, simple, and appreciative. Like, hey, we would appreciate 2 minutes of your time to improve our service. Make customer feel like their opinion generally matters. The best practice is send after a customer had time to fully experience the product. You don't want to send this survey email like after 3 days from receiving the purchase. You want to send it like typically 14 days out, 20 days out. All right. How to do this, guys, is link a short survey, Shopify app or Google or Typeform. Keep it under 2 minutes to complete. People are not going to spend like a whole hour to complete your survey. Be mindful of your time. And the big picture here is a feedback loop that helps you make smarter decision and make your brand stronger over time. All right, pro tips. There's 2 ways to go about it. Manually sending it from Klaviyo. We cover this in the setup, or using a Shopify app for surveys. We don't cover this because there's a million different apps and you need a specific setup for that app. It's the same idea though, okay? This email is not about revenue, but it will make you a lot of revenue. You'll be surprised how much revenue we make from these survey emails. People feel valued. They just click on your survey, they complete it, and then they go to your site and buy. You'd be surprised. And it's all about learning from your best customers. So we typically, who we want to target the survey is people who bought second time, third time. You can also do this for first time. The survey response rate is just very low. They're not as, crazy advocates. They're not your best customers yet. How to use the data. So you can take the data that comes from the survey, throw it into AI, and basically ask AI about what is the overall sentiment, good, bad, and how you can improve. So the more you get from this, you can basically improve the product, refine your messaging in emails, and enhance the overall customer experience. Let's look at a few examples. Get a $10 Amazon gift card and 15% off Tech the Survey. All right, a bit of a language, a visual, of course. If you need help, contact us. Super simple and straightforward. Review request. Quick setup, 1 minute and 21 seconds in Klaviyo. What is the review request flow, guys? So this is social proof engine. Why it matters, social proof is the fuel of your e-commerce brand. It leverages satisfied customers in the right moment. More reviews equals easier selling to future customers. The more videos you get, the more written reviews, the easier it is to sell. More people see, other people bought this product and service must work. And it builds trust for future buyers. The primary goal, guys, is to turn happy customers into public advocates. It brings also strong base of review, ratings, and testimonials. This is the heart and soul of every business. My business, your business, every business needs review, ratings, and testimonials. All right, so you want to ask it in a simple way with little to no friction. Make it easy and quick to submit. You want to keep the tone friendly and appreciative and position it as sharing their honest experience, not tasking them to do something. All right, like, hey, write me a good review. Big picture is a foundational flow that compounds over time, makes easy selling in the future through social proof that is going to be strong. What we use for this specific flow, we use Judge Me. Why? Because Klaviyo reviews, yes, they work good, but it's like hundreds of dollars a month. Judge Me is like 15 to 25 bucks a month. All right. Does the same thing, costs a lot less. So this is the metric. You set up Judge Me, and then you'll have eligible for Judge Me review requests. Let's look at the pro tips. Use it for both types, product reviews and also service experience reviews. You can use both. After somebody buys, you can send a product review, what you thought about the product. but also you can send what you thought about the service and experience. You know, you want to leverage Klaviyo tools like Klaviyo Forms landing pages to collect data directly as a profile property. You can even send today a landing page built in Klaviyo. You want to set up under every button that people click. Once they click, they get a profile property. And let's say they clicked, I don't like the product. You can add them to a segment of people who didn't like your products. And then you can basically send them specific campaigns. So that's a cool way to actually pro tip to leverage, what people click as segment in Klaviyo. Best practice is link directly to the review submission page in Judge Me, minimize step required, and maybe offer an incentive. Get 15% off, leave a review. So you just leave us a review, click here, and you get 15% off your next purchase. Ooh, so that was a lot. Post-purchase first time, the entire sequence, 3 emails for before their package arrive, 3 emails for after their package arrive. The whole cross-selling happens here, and review, and also the survey. All right. So this is the entire thing. We even give you some subject line ideas here so you can check it out. 2 more to go, guys. Winback flow, 2-minute setup video in Klaviyo. Why you need this? People bought from you. Okay. They bought from you, but they're inactive. They haven't bought in months. You want to bring those inactive customers back to your ecosystem and turn them into repeat buyers again. How do you do this? You remind them why they bought from you in the first place. So let's say somebody bought from you a vitamin. So you want to let them know, hey, you stay consistent. You bought, but you're not going to get the effect if you're going to stop taking the vitamins. So that's why you want to remind them why they bought, reintroduce your products and brand, what makes your brand unique. So our vitamins are super natural. They're not going to mess up your stomach. So you want to reintroduce what makes your product unique and your brand unique, and give them compelling reason to return. Maybe give them a discount. Like, hey, come back. I'll give you 10% off to enjoy those benefits. Key benefits is recover lost revenue from inactive customers, increase customer lifetime value because you make more money off of existing customers. And it's all done automatically, by the way. Build brand awareness and drive repeat buyers with the right incentives. Big pictures is high leverage flow that reactivate existing customers instead of solely relying on new acquisition. Why would you pay extra money for Facebook or Google? You can literally tap into your customer that already bought and give them a good reason to come back, Pro tip, base timing on buyer behavior. So first email should match the average time between purchases. If your vitamin lasts 60 days, you want to send it out after 60 days, right? If your product lasts, 2 weeks, send it after a month. You don't want to send it right on the nose. You want to give them some time to come back. But if they don't, you want to send them, the first email. Email 1 based on return window, email 2 to 3 weeks after. So it doesn't feel like, too aggressive. And the tone, you want to basically time it and make it feel like a well-timed nudge. Like I nudge you, hey, by the way, you didn't buy for a while. So you want to kind of nudge them and not feel super aggressive. Here's how we did it here. Your next essential is here. Treat yourself today. It's been a minute and we'd love to welcome you back with some of our most loved pieces. Dynamic block of bestsellers, right? So we want to tap into the bestseller approach. Love this. Craft to complement your collection. And here is a 15% off if they didn't actually bite on email 1. We missed you, right? Hurry, the offer won't last long. Typically, we also can do email 3, last few hours for your 15% off. That works really well. Last email, guys. I'm going to have a last sip of coffee here. 58 seconds. That's actually the quickest one to set up. So what is the sunset flow? This is the final attempt for you guys to reactivate subscribers who just don't open emails from you in months. Typically, we aim for anybody that either, there's 2 types, didn't open 10, 20 emails, or just timing, right? They didn't open for 6 months, 7 months, right? Sometimes if you send a lot of emails, 10, 20 emails mean 1 month. I have stores that send 3 campaigns a week. That's 10, 20 emails right there. So see what is more, let's say timing or amount of emails, and build your sunset flow based on that. The whole goal is basically to give them one last chance to stay on your list, or we unsubscribe them, So what we should do, ask if they still want to hear from you, encourage a final click, because if they do click on your email, they become active again, So if they click an email, they become part of your engaged segment again, right? Because engaged segment is clicked or open in the past 30, 60, 90, 120, or 180 days. Key benefits, remove truly inactive subscribers. We tried everything. Reduce email platform costs. Your Klaviyo bill will go lower because you're not going to pay for inactive subscribers, and it also improves your deliverability, right? Deliverability, this will help you with two things: sender reputation, and also increases the chance of landing in inbox, because Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, they check, okay, this sender, do they send to people who are inactive, right? They see that by open and click rate. So if we clean our list with this flow, you'll get more inbox placement and not spam placement. Big picture is a necessary cleanup flow that protects your deliverability, reduces costs, and keeps your email platform healthy. Trigger setup, see in the video. The trigger is added to an active subscriber segment. These are a bunch of trigger filters, right? We can also do both. We can do at least 20 emails, haven't received, haven't opened in the past 6 months, haven't clicked in the past 180 days or 6 months, the same thing, right? You have can receive email marketing, profile properties, unengaged is not true because they're not unengaged yet, hasn't opened or clicked emails since starting this flow. Pro tip, automate suppression. Add final step automatically. You can add that last step, suppress an active profile, and this will help you just clean the list and protect your deliverability. Tone is clear and respectful, no pressure, just simple choice, stay or go. Let's see how we did it here. Don't leave just yet. The subject lines are also like very harsh. Like, is it time to say goodbye? The header, don't leave just yet. It's been a while since we see you, first name, and we think it's time we let you go. So again, you don't want to be, disrespectful, but at the same time, it's stay or leave, So if you're still interested in receiving exclusive content, hit the stay on list right here. We'll even give you 15% off right here. If you need space, we'll get it. Simply click the unsubscribe. You'll stop receiving emails. So unsubscribe. We make it super easy. Another trick that you want to do here, if somebody clicks the unsubscribe button, what will happen is actually pretty cool. They will go into a profile preference page. So even though they click unsubscribe, it will take them into a page that we create that basically allows them to control how often they hear from you. Weekly, monthly, or what type of content. Only sales, new product releases, collaboration. So it's pretty cool because either way, we get them to click something and stay on the list, And then the last email is we'll stop bugging you if they didn't even open this one. You just tell them like, we're just going to unsubscribe you from our mailing list at midnight, So if they want to stay on the list, just stay on the list right here. So if you stay till the end, you are super serious about scaling your email marketing automation. So I have two things to tell you. The first one, guys, is you have not only this full guide that I made for you that you can access at any given time, is free for you to use. I also made individual, more in-depth videos on every single one of the flows that I pointed out today, like the welcome flow, like the browse abandonment, like the abandoned checkout, the post-purchase. Feel free to check out my YouTube channel. It has not only more in-depth information, but free templates, a cheat sheet on how to set up every single one of these flows, just like we do in the agency. Or if you're running an e-commerce brand that does at least 20K per month revenue, this is my little gift for you. I invite you to book a call with me and my team. We'll dive into your Klaviyo account and we'll map out everything your store needs to crush it with email and SMS marketing. So check out the link in the description. I was Nate and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.